What's going on, football world? It's Carter with X's and O's, and on this video I'm going to continue on with part 2 of a multi-part series that explains and describes and discusses an offensive formation system, specifically as it relates to the I formation. If you have not watched the video that I previously created that is titled Offensive Formation Name and Modification System, I encourage you to do so and watch this series in sequential order. Anyhow, moving on into part 2, I am going to continue on by first introducing another backfield modification. And as always, if I put MOD, that is short for modification. And this is called a switch. A switch. And what this does is it tells the tailback and the fullback to switch positions. So the coach will want a switch call for whatever reason, and that will tell the tailback and the fullback to switch positions. So let's go into a diagram up top and build a formation. So let's go back to a very simple formation. This would be a I switch left. I switch left. So we know the Y will be on the left. This is out of I formation, so it's an I base. We'll put our quarterback in there. We know that there is a switch call, so now, for whatever reason, the coach or the offensive coordinator would want the tailback to be in the fullback position. And then that would tell the Z to go to the left side off the line of scrimmage and the X to go to the right side on the line of scrimmage. This may be beneficial if it's a short yardage play and you have a bruising type tailback who can read holes really well, but it's a short yardage situation, maybe a 3rd and goal on the 2-yard line, and you just want to run a dive play with your best athlete, best running back, right there into the A gaps on a dive. Something like that. That might be a scenario in which you would use a switch there. Again, I am going to be including elements from the previous videos, and so if any of this confuses you or loses you, like I said, I would recommend you go back and watch this in sequential order, and that will catch you up. But let's move over here into another type of situation. So we have a queen switch, and we will put the Y placement on the right side, and so we know that the Y is on the right side. We will put our quarterback under center. We know it is a switch call, so the fullback again is in the tailback position. The X would be to the left on the line, the Z would be to the right off of the line. We do have a queen call, which normally it means fullback minus Y, but because we have the switch call, the tailback would be minus the Y. So we have a queen switch right with the tight end. Let's move into another modification, and let's move into wide receiver modifications. I will be doing a future video where I will give multiple names and descriptions of various wide receiver modifications that you can employ if you are interested. So look for that video to come. But a very basic modification out of the I formation is a simple twins call. And so what twins means is that the X and the Z will add together. So the X and Z, I'm going to actually put that in X's and O's green just to stay consistent. X plus Z on one side of the formation, of the offensive formation. So in review, a wide receiver mod, one mod that is often used with the I formation is twins, and twins equals X plus Z to one side of the offensive formation. Let's go up and do a quick example over here in the left column. So let's just go back to a basic formation. I left, and we will do the wide receiver modifier. I left twins. So let's build our I formation. Quarterback, fullback, and tailback. There is no switch call, so they're back in their normal alignment. The Y would be to the left. So there's our I left, and twins tells us that the X and the Z are to one side of the offensive formation, and they are away from the tight end. So we have I left twins. Let's move over to the right column and do another example. In this one, I'm going to use a king set. King, right, king, right, twins. And so you can see, and that video that I mentioned before, the offensive formation name and modification system video, tells you how to put all of these cues and the modifications into a simple template in order to teach your players how to use this system and understand the system. So it's actually a really easy system to utilize. There is no switch call, so we'll put the quarterback and the tailback behind center. The Y is on the right. The fullback would be in a king, F plus Y. And then we have a twins, which means X and Z are to one side of the formation. And your spacing, you're going to have to come up with your own rules for your spacing of the twins. Some people will tell the X to go on top of the numbers, and then the Z will stand on the hash, or depending on if the ball is on the right hash. There's different things you're going to want to teach your players about the spacing of your twins, but this is a basic look. So we have king, right, twins as a wide receiver modifier. Let's move into the last portion of this video, and we are going to discuss a tight end, or Y. I'm going to go back to the tight end, or the Y. I'm going to put a box around this, and you'll see why here in a little bit. And this is going to be an open call, but it's a tight end modifier, and it is referred to as a Y open. And basically what a Y open does is it splits the tight end off of the end man of the line of scrimmage, which will become the offensive tackle. So the tight end splits the difference. The tight end splits the difference between the offensive tackle and near wide receiver. And this can be a rule breaker if you have a twins, because there won't be a wide receiver to the Y side in a twin set, and I'll go over that here in a minute. So there are some loopholes in that definition. But let's go to an example. So we have a I left, very simple, I left open. I left open. So we have a I formation, quarterback, fullback, tailback. We know that because it's going to be a left open, the Z is going to be to the left and the X is going to be to the right. And because it is a open, the Y will be somewhere out there. And the reason why I put the box around the Y is to designate that it is a open call, versus if you look at the Y in the other diagrams and formations, you will see that he does not have a box around him because it is a normal alignment for that player. But if we did some brackets like so, you would see that the Y is splitting the difference, or halfway in between the offensive tackle and the near wide receiver, which would be the Z to that side. Let's move into our final formation example down here. And I'm going to show you how the system can continue to build up and become more and more complex based upon what you call queen, switch, gun, right twins, with a wide receiver modifier, twins, and a tight end modifier. All of this is discussed in the base video for this formation system. Queen, switch, gun, right twins, open. Let's start off by placing the tight end. Now this is where I talked about the rule breaker, because there is a twins wide receiver modification. Now I would tell the tight end to split the difference in between the offensive tackle and the sideline, or I may tell him to go into a more of an X position where the X would line on top of the numbers when the X is by himself. Whatever rule you want to use, feel free, obviously. Or you might have multiple rules based on down and distance, area of the field, different things like that. But we have a right open, the twins would be away, X and Z. Quarterback is in gun. It is a switch call, so the fullback is behind the quarterback, and the tailback would be in a queen. And there's different reasons why you may want to get in that type of situation, but I'm just showing you the how complex you can get it if you really want it to be, how easy it is to modify it, and how to modify a basic formation like the I formation. We started with the I formation, and with these cues and modifiers, we can turn this into any formation we want to manipulate the formation to form mismatches, isolate players against weaker opponents, and whatever we want to do. So that one in the bottom right would be a queen switch gun right twins open. This has been part 2 of an offensive formation system series where I use that system in relationship to the I formation to explain modifications, adaptations to that base formation. I hope this has added to your knowledge of the game of football, whether you are a player, a coach, or a fan. If you would like to see a topic or a video topic in the future, please leave a comment in the comment section below and or email me at xzandos.com. I appreciate you watching the video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and there will be more videos to come.